Hello again. I've come to the conclusion that we just cannot learn too much about Freemasonry. Once again, the teachings in the Scottish Rite Monitor and Guide, put together by Arturo de Hoyos, and included within this monitor and guide, it's basically 3 books in one, which is extremely nice. Brother Art put all of Albert Pike's Legenda in this as well, and these are excellent instructions, ideas, bits of philosophy, moral wisdom, practical, logical reasoning, etc. I really enjoy this book. This is one of my very favorite books. In my opinion, along with Morals and Dogma, this is one of the most 5 important books in all of Freemasonry. And of course I say that in complete ignorance because I haven't read everything in Freemasonry. You can't. You can't live long enough. Anyway, on page 438, Albert Pike from his Legenda on the religious and political nature of Freemasonry. Masonry has and always had a religious creed. It teaches what it deems to be the truth in respect to the nature and attributes of God as the loving and beneficent Father of all mankind, as a supreme and perfect intelligence, as not in any wise the gigantic and distorted image of a man reflected upon the clouds. Charity and loving kindness are 2 words that comprehend the whole political and religious creed of Freemasonry. The law of charity cannot have been enacted by, the spirit of loving kindness cannot have emanated from a cruel or ferocious God. It is the expression of the divine will because it is of the divine nature. When man shall conceive of a just God, charity and loving kindness will be preached in his temples, and there will be equitable kings and merciful and generous popular chiefs. Beliefs make opinion, and opinion consecrates powers. A people's idea of God is its God, and therefore it is true to say that as man makes progress, the excellence of his God increases. As humanity elevates itself, its gods becomes more great and more exalted. Then the ideal which the world forms of God for itself reacts upon the world. The divine ideal is a mirror from which the rays of human thought are reflected to humanity. This reflection from the ideal world becomes the light of the real world. Manners and habits form themselves in accordance with creeds, and political principles are the result of these manners and habits. Degrees, if worthy to be called such, are so many steps of the mystic ladder by which we ascend to the knowledge of the true Word, to the knowledge of God and nature, which is his revelation. They are therefore instructions by symbols and their interpretations in political, philosophical, and religious knowledge. If not this, they are nothing, or merely vain and empty ceremonies. Masonry must teach the truth or die. It lives only by teaching the truth. God, being infinite, is known to us only by his finite manifestations, the known leading us, by necessary or reasonable hypothesis, to divine the relative unknown, and the wisdom of God by which everything begins and ends, the principles of all that eternally exists, consists in the spirit of loving kindness and charity. To it alone the soul owes its immortality, and whatsoever in Masonry, or in political conduct, or in religion, is contrary to this spirit and this supreme wisdom is false. On page 455, we're further instructed with the admonition to make your life count. In all ways, maintain dignity, listen patiently, weigh all things deliberately and dispassionately, and decide impartially. Fairness is the key, it seems to me like, right? Then further on page 471, In the 21st degree, learn that laziness is degrading and inactivity shameful. Be ever vigilant, seeking opportunities to perform good deeds. Be loyal in both word and deed. Be charitable with the goods that God gives you, which is everything. Yes? Be charitable with the goods that God has given you, keeping always in mind the poor and the needy. You shall by generous giving liberate yourself from the illusion. Notice what he identifies as the illusion here. That which is phony. This is the illusion. We are to free ourselves from this illusion, that the accumulation of wealth is the purpose of life. Let not your tongue make mischief between other men by speaking flattery or gossip. It is certain that truth in the end will always win, and the right shall prevail. So, it follows, do not be impatient when God, for a time, allows falsehood and wrong prospers and overcome, for their day will never be very long. Those are just some of the teachings among many, many, many other great and important teachings that Masonry inculcates within the hearts of good men to make us better. The idea is to actively seek to benefit others, even those who have not even been born yet. Leave this world a better place than we found it, throughout our conduct of good, helpful lives, which are full of charity and benevolence. After all, that is the nature of God that He bestows. So we in turn should reflect that action among ourselves and with each other throughout the world. That's just good teaching. That kind of teaching tastes good.